My name is Donna Bucciarelli. I'm the Injury Prevention Education Coordinator for the Level 1 Adult Trauma and Level 2 Pediatric Trauma Centers at Beaumont Royal Oak. Today we'll be talking about senior safety, fall and fire prevention, and we'll get started. For fire prevention, we'll talk about 8 areas of fire prevention. The first is smoking, and I have to say that as a nurse, I always have to say, if you smoke, never stop trying to quit. It's such a health problem in our society and for individuals. And having said that, if you do smoke, we recommend that you go outside to smoke. There's a couple reasons for that. Number one, it is safer. The fire risks are much less. Number two, if you have to go outside, you will probably smoke less. So that's, again, the nurse in me telling you that it's a better thing to smoke less. If you have guests that come over and you're not used to smoking in your house, make sure that you have large, deep ashtrays. And before throwing them into the trash, wet those butts and ashes before throwing them out. Or, you know, if you are the smoker and you do it frequently, bury them in sand, something that will make sure that the hot part of the cigarette is totally out. Never ever smoke when you're lying in bed or on the couch. Even late at night watching a movie, there's always that risk that you'll fall asleep with that cigarette in your hand, and smoldering fires are a frequent issue with senior citizens. Space heaters. We're coming into a season now where it's getting colder, and sometimes our heating systems don't heat our homes evenly. So make sure that if you use a space heater, that you use it carefully. The recommendations for all space heaters are that you have 3 feet around the back, the front, the sides, where wood, furniture, and even you should not be any closer than that. Again, with space heaters, and we'll touch on this when we get to the fall prevention, make sure that those cords, because they're 3 feet, they should be 3 feet away from all furniture and all and any stationary items, even walls and especially wood furniture. Make sure that those cords are not in a place that you will trip on them. And always remember to shut off the heaters and unplug them before you go to bed. You never know what might, if you have pets, a cat could jump up, possibly hit the on button. So make sure that you shut them off and unplug them before going to bed or leaving the home. In the kitchen, we worry about the cooktop stove, and we worry about the ovens. We see burns from spills from the stove, but we also see burns from clothes catching on fire. So make sure that you're wearing tight-fitting, rolled up or short sleeves when cooking. The reaching for things, sometimes the spices are on the wall in front of the stove, and reaching, especially with an open flame cooktop, it can be very dangerous. Use oven mitts. Make sure that pot handles are pushed to the back of the stove, so that in moving by quickly, or if you have guests who might touch those handles, the contents don't spill on them. Those scalds burns are very, very severe. Never leave your cooking unattended. It's always a good idea that if you do have to leave the kitchen to use the restroom, take something from the kitchen with you, a wooden spoon, something, a pot holder, something that'll remind you that you've got something cooking. But the best thing to do is to just shut that flame off for the short time that you're going to be out of the room. If a pan does catch on fire, we've all learned that baking soda is a great way to have that go out. We don't all have baking soda sitting right next to the stove, so in an effort not to be searching in cupboards for baking soda, have the pot handle near and just put that pot handle on the pot, slide it over the fire, and the lack of oxygen from putting that cap on will stop the fire. And especially with people who are on medications that may cause you to be drowsy, or if you're drinking alcohol, don't cook at those times. Those are dangerous times to be cooking. If by chance, either while cooking or at any other time, your clothes or your hair catch fire, stop, drop, and roll is the method that best puts out those flames. Stop, don't run. I know that anytime that you have been on a bike or even in the car with the windows rolled down, you feel that wind, you feel the breeze, and breeze just fuels flames. So you want to stop so that you're not giving those flames extra oxygen. Drop gently to the ground. Make sure that you cover your face with your hands. And that's for two reasons. Number one, to prevent any kinds of burns on your face. And number two, so that you're not inhaling the smoke. And then roll over and over, back and forth to put out the fire. The actual friction on the flames will cause a lack of oxygen, and those flames will go out. If you do get a burn, either from something catching fire on you, or even from touching a hot burner or a hot pot or pan, run that burn under cool water for 3 to 5 minutes. The burn will go deep into the skin, and that cool water will stop the burning deep into your flesh. Get medical help right away. A severe burn is any burn that is 3 times the size of your palm. So if any burn is 3 times, that's an emergency. Shock can happen. And so that's a 911 call. If it's a smaller burn, make sure that you do have a physician look at that. And I'm sure that everyone's heard that you put some kind, either butter or oil or something on a burn, and that is not the way we treat burns. That is actually detrimental to the burn, so no butter or any type of grease. Your smoke alarms. Make sure that you have a smoke alarm installed on every level of your home. In the basement if you have a basement, on the first floor, and then if you have an upper level with bedrooms, make sure that there's a smoke detector installed on every level. You want to test those once a month. And for us, at least, in my home, our schedules are busy. We have a hard time remembering when that day is. And so the first of the month, we remember that on the first of the month, it's just an easy way. When that calendar says 1, it's time to check our smoke alarms. Also remember that at the time changes, we fall back and we spring forward with our clocks, and that's the best time to remember to change those batteries in your smoke detectors. Some people are good enough. It really only needs to be done once a year, but when we change the clocks, it's hard to remember which time to change those batteries. So for the cost of a small 8-volt battery, it's worth doing that twice a year instead of once a year. And sleep with your bedroom doors closed. I know that some of us want to hear what's going on in the house. If you have pets especially, you want to know what's going on. But that door provides a huge barrier in case a fire does happen in another place in your home. That will give you time to react to hearing the smoke alarms go off. And I don't know, it's just something that I learned from one of the firefighters that I work with, that the reason why we have smoke alarms is because when we sleep, the part of our brain that hears also goes to sleep. I'm sorry, that smells goes to sleep. And so smoke detectors were designed so that we would hear. Our sense of hearing never goes to sleep, but our sense of smell does, and that's why people used to perish in house fires. It's always good to plan and practice an escape from your home. The more we practice, if you've ever played a sport or an instrument, the more you practice, really the calmer you are and the more level-headed you are in making decisions if there is an emergency. So you've got to have a plan. No two ways out of every room. Of course, the door is one of them. We go through the door every day when we leave every room that we enter. And then there is usually a window. So know those two ways. Make sure that your doors and windows open easily. If they tend to stick, have them, lubricated so that they slide easily. You wouldn't want that to be your barrier. In a fire, get out and stay out. Never go back in. Everything in your home is replaceable. I know that we all have treasures, but you are not replaceable. So never go back for anything that you might have forgotten. The rule of thumb is don't hide. It's an easy thing to remember. Don't hide, go outside. We teach that to kids. We teach that to all ages. It's something that sticks in your head. And also, another phrase that we use is how low can you go? Because smoke, like heat, rises. And so if that's the case, and it is, we know it is, the lower that you can get, that is where the cleanest air is. That's where the least amount of smoke is. Actually, a foot or below, so crawling is really the best way to be there, be down there. And the smoke is actually usually what causes death and injury in a fire. Our homes are filled now with plastics and materials that are made from petroleum, and all those emit dangerous, toxic smoke. And so we want to try and avoid that smoke. Know your local phone number. It's usually 911. Once you've escaped, go to a neighbor's house and use their phone, or if your cell phone was near and you were able to grab that on your way out. Know that calling from a cell phone, the dispatchers need a little bit more information. They will need to know the address. When we call from a landline, all that information pops up for the dispatcher to see, our address, our name. But when you're calling from a cell phone, you'll need to know a little bit more information. You'll need to know the address. That is something that doesn't pop up when you're using your cell phone. Plan your escape around your abilities. Have a telephone in the bedroom close enough for you to reach. If you have any balance issues or vertigo, dizziness issues, you wouldn't want to have to pop out of bed to reach the phone. So in case of an emergency, it's best to have the phone on the bedstand or somewhere near your bed so that you don't have to pop up too quickly. Keep a flashlight or a whistle near the bed to signal for help. Firefighters say that fires are loud. Obviously, they're dark with thick black smoke, and if they can hear an intermittent sound like a whistle, it helps them to find victims better. So a flashlight and a whistle will help you. And also, one of the things that if you have disabilities, you can call and have those put on the database in the city that you live in, so that when you do call from a house phone, that pops up if you need oxygen, if you are a paraplegic, or if you are deaf. Any of those things any information that the paramedics or the dispatcher has in front of them will help to know who to send, what to send, the equipment that they might need to rescue you. So be prepared in case of fire. Identify and learn every exit from your house or building that, if you live in an apartment building, or from your home. Practice sliding those windows up and down. Practice unlocking and locking doors and windows. The indoor side of a deadbolt should be a knob. I believe that is now the case. I'm sure that some older homes still have a key on both sides. And if that's the case and you feel more secure with your door locked at night, make sure that you have that key inside the lock, your inside key, inside the lock. In case of a fire, then you're not searching for a key. And that could be the minute or two that makes a difference to get you out and be safe. Next, we're going to talk about fall prevention. And as a level 1 trauma center, we keep a registry that tells us the main reasons. It actually tracks all the injuries that come in so that we can know what to come out into the community and teach prevention on. And falls are actually the highest. We have the highest number of admissions with falls for people 50 and older. The second is motor vehicle crashes. And so we're going to talk about the primary reason why why senior citizens come into our trauma center. Exercising regularly, it'll make you strong, it improves balance and coordination. Ask your doctor what the best physical exercise is for you. If you've been a runner, then obviously the level of your exercise can be greater. But in general, for most of the population, taking a daily 30-minute walk, it can be a leisurely walk, it doesn't have to be a jog, or joining a water exercise or Tai Chi class. All of those things will help with strength and with balance. Taking your time. You really, being in a rush is never worth it. My mother used to always say, haste makes waste. And if you hurt yourself, obviously that's the case. So get out of chairs slowly, make sure that you have good footing. When you're getting out of bed in the morning, I know this is something that I often do, just sit at the bedside and give your head a chance to adjust from the lying position to the sitting position, and that will help with dizziness. Stand and get your balance before you walk. I'm sure there's something to hold on to, a nightstand, the bed itself, or if you're sitting, a chair. Just stand, make sure that your balance is good before you take off. Be aware of your surroundings. See if you're not in your own home, if there are area rugs that you're not familiar with. And again, take your time, don't rush. Clear the way. So many of us have clutter, and I didn't mention this in the fire program, but the firefighters also say that their primary reason when they come to a fire is to rescue. And because they're crawling, they can't hear well because of the noise of the fire, they can't feel well because of the thick protective gloves they wear, they can't see well because of the dark smoke. They are crawling in any pile of stuff that they come to, a pile of shoes, a pile of dirty clothes, in kids' rooms, a pile of toys. They have to make sure that there isn't someone in that pile, that pile isn't someone that they need to rescue. And so not only for fire reasons, but also for fall reasons, make sure that the clutter isn't on the floor. A lot of times we're carrying something we can't see down to see that there's something to trip on. And a lot of times we're just not paying attention because we're so on automatic at our own homes that that something could be on the floor that you could trip on. So put shoes away, clothing, books and magazines, any clutter that could be on the floor. Make sure that stairs and walkways are free of any of that. Look out for yourself, and that just means that our eyes have to be working properly, have to be seeing clearly in order for us to avoid falls. See your eye specialist once a year. Poor vision definitely can increase your chance of falling. And if you have glasses, wear them. So many people said, oh, I was just going from one place to another and didn't put my glasses on. So make sure that those glasses are on. You have them for a reason, and you're safest when you are wearing them. Improve the lighting in your home. Make sure that you have enough light. Our eyes need more and more light to see the same as we age. Use night lights to light a path from your bed to the bathroom so that you have a clear view of where you're going when it is dark and you don't want to turn bright lights on and wake yourself up and then possibly not be able to go back to sleep. And then turn lights on before you use the stairs. Don't try and go up or down stairs in a darkened stairwell. Never climb the stairs in the dark. That is a very dangerous thing. Wipe up spilled liquids immediately. If you are taking a bath or shower, make sure that you have an absorbent bath mat right as you get out of that tub or shower. That is one way that we slip and fall in bathrooms primarily. Use non-slip mats while you're in the tub. You know, they have full ones. They also have decals that you can put on your tub to give you that friction on your feet so that you're not slipping and sliding in the tub or in the shower. Have grab bars installed. Those are always a great thing. You can have them installed by, they're not too hard to install, or you could actually get a handyman to do that, but they should be next to your bath, inside your bath, in the shower, and sometimes, if it would help you, near the toilet, on the wall surrounding the toilet, so that you have something to grab that gives you stability as you get up. If and you know your own needs, but using a shower chair or a bench, it's something, especially if your shower is in the tub and you have to get your legs over that tall tub side. If you use a shower bench or a chair, sitting down and then swinging one leg at a time and scooting is so much easier than trying to balance and get one leg in over the other. So always know your limitations and use the tools that we have that will help you not to fall and be injured. Bathrooms, while I know I changed the slide, but bathrooms are kind of a challenging room. There's no soft surfaces in a bathroom. Everything's hard. The tub's hard, the sink's hard, and they're generally smaller than most other rooms. So if you do fall, there's a better chance of hitting your head or breaking a limb because there's nothing to cushion your blow, and chances of you hitting something because of the size of the bathroom are much greater. Be aware of uneven surfaces. We've heard it a million times, but throw rugs, area rugs are a danger. Anyone who has gait issues, shuffle, if it's hard to lift feet, we really do recommend to get rid of all of those. You're better off not to have those because they do sometimes rumple. They get a corner can be turned over and that would catch your shoe, and that is a major way that people catch that with their shoe and then tumble down. So always, if you do have area rugs, always make sure that they're smooth out the wrinkles and folds, and pick up your bath mats and towels after use. If you don't, and then go to the bathroom in the middle of the night without turning the light on, which so many people do so that they don't wake themselves up for the rest of the night, that's an easy way to fall. So pick up anything, the towel that you used to wipe off, any bath mats or towels that you used to mop up, to catch the water so that you wouldn't have a slippery situation. They can still be dangerous if they're there after you're all through. And make sure that anything that's on your stairs, the carpeting, anything is firmly attached and wrinkle-free, so that when you're going up and down stairs, stairs often pose the most challenging situation as we get older. Tread carefully. Use a step stool. I know that all of us have step stools. Not all of them are the kind that we need as we get older. And really the top step is kind of, if you step too far forward, then it can collapse. You can be unstable. So make sure that you switch that out for, they make step stools that are higher so that you're not standing on the highest level, and also that have a high bar so that you can be holding onto that bar as you go up to keep steady as you're going up, usually for something in a cupboard. Also, in that case, the things that you use very often, make sure that you bring them down to an eye level in your cupboards. Put the things you don't use very often up, and then bring the most used things so that your use of a step stool is minimal, if hopefully not at all. Stairs should be very well lit from the top and the bottom. It's always good to have, I know that most newer homes have a switch at the top and the bottom of that stairwell, but it might be a good idea for you, if you don't, to have that done by an electrician, so that if you're, depending on where you're starting out, you can turn the lights on. You don't have to get to the bottom of the stairs if you start at the top and it's dark. Have easy grip handles, and the safest way is to have those handles on both sides of your steps, so that you are actually holding those handrails as you go down. And the full length of that stairwell, have them on both sides, full length of the stairwell. And then again, clutter is always an issue with fall risk. So I know that putting shoes that you want to take up, or some people actually have baskets on their steps, but if your toe catches anything that's on those stairs, it could cause you to take a tumble. And we see very severe injuries from stair falls. Putting your best foot forward means making sure that your shoes fit properly, that they're appropriate for your abilities. So sturdy, well-fitted, low-heeled shoes with non-slip soles. That often means not the thick-soled athletic shoes, because those soles are sticky. They catch rugs and sometimes hard floors. We try and stay away from very high heels, thick-soled athletic shoes. Slippers, especially slip-in slippers that don't have a backing, those cause a higher risk. And stocking feet. It's best to wear shoes both indoors and outdoors. It gives our feet more support, and make sure that they're fashionable but sensible. Take your time. You're more likely to fall when you're rushed or distracted, and we all know that. That's when when we make our biggest mistakes, is when we're so distracted and not calm that we misstep, and that is often how falls occur. Other safety tips: keep your emergency numbers in large print, because most of us, as we age, need to use readers or something to magnify print, especially if it's not real bright in your room. So have those emergency numbers in very large print near each phone. Have necessary items at your bedside when you go to bed. If you need a walker during the day, you'll need that walker if you are going to be going to the bathroom. So have your glasses, a cane, walker, wheelchair, whatever you use, make sure that they're near enough to your bed that you can reach. You don't want to have to go to them. That's when your fall risk is the greatest, in order to go farther. Put a phone near the floor in your bedroom in case you fall and can't get up. And it's always a good idea to consider wearing an alarm device. They come in necklace or bracelet. You can get them in a variety of charges and a variety of companies, but there's somebody on the other end of the button that you push that will ask you what the problem is, and they will be able to get help for you in case you can't get up. And that is always a very important thing. You wouldn't want to be injured on the floor, possibly with a broken bone, and wait there until someone notices that they haven't seen you for a while. That's when more serious complications occur. Today's talk was referenced through the Center of Disease Control and Prevention from the National Fire Protection Agency and Allstate Insurance Company. Thank you for your attention, and be safe.